Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's show, episode 1142 for the week of August 24th, 2021. This is the Diz Unplugged. I am your host, Craig Williams, filling in for Pete Werner, who unfortunately is not feeling too spectacular today. So he is giving himself a well-deserved break. We have been having a lot of crazy issues with the team this past week, so we'll get to that in a second, but I want to share who else is on the show with us today. We have Rhino.
I just real quick, I know I should just say hello right here, but I was looking forward to, after watching that Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, to be able to go, hello, Peter.
Well, we'll get to.
It doesn't work here, so
yeah.
It doesn't work here.
No, we'll hopefully be able to get back to that next week. Then also joining us today, we have Denny.
Hey there.
And finally joining us, we have our good friend of the show, Erin, making her world debut on the Diz Unplugged.
Hi, friends.
Excellent. Before we get started, I need to remind you that this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content and you want to support us, please consider booking your next vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. You can get a free no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. It supports us. You get the help of an awesome Dreams Unlimited Travel agent. It's just win-win-win all around. So please consider that. Also, please take a second, if you enjoy our show, to hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to Diz Unplugged and that you are leaving lots of comments, questions, video suggestions in the comment section. And if you're joining us here in the live chat, welcome to you all. We're going to have a lot of fun. We have just so much news to get to this week because we also didn't have a show last week because I was sick. So we are going to play catch up from last week's news, this week's news, and I promise, hopefully Pete will be returning next week, and at that point we will be able to get his thoughts on Genie Plus and in all of some of the ridiculous announcements that have come out over the past couple weeks. So please just continue being patient. I want to hear Pete's thoughts as well too, because I haven't talked to him about it. I've only just been speculating that he's not going to be as upset about Genie Plus as a lot of people expect him to be. And so that's just my speculation. I want to know like everyone else. But yeah, we've just had a lot of problems last week. I was sick, and I want to give some updates on what is happening with some of the rest of our team right now. If you follow Pete on Facebook, you might have heard that Fiasco, unfortunately, is currently in the hospital. He had one of his lungs collapse, and he had to have emergency surgery to obviously fix that, but he still has one more surgery in his future as well, too, to try to, hopefully just one, to try to fix the situation that he's in. So please, start sending those positive messages and vibes out towards Fiasco. So hopefully he has a quick recovery. And then also from our Disneyland team over on the West Coast, our dear friend Nancy Johnson unfortunately had some massive issues as well, cardiac arrest, and is still in the hospital with that too. So please also send some good vibes and thoughts out to the West Coast as well too. So hopefully they recover quickly. And yeah, I'm ready to move past all this with our team and ready for us all to be back to 100%. Stressful times for us.
Yep. We love you, Fiasco, Nancy.
Yeah, absolutely. And to move from kind of down news with that onto positive news, I want to, I guess, for the debut of the show, but not necessarily over, I want to mention the Lunch with Pat SAJAK, Pete, and then Pete's mom, the raffle that is currently happening for our for our fundraiser for Give Kids the World that will be part of the Diz Family Reunion event, as well as like the marathon show that we're doing and such. And we were supposed to announce it last week, but unfortunately we didn't have that show last week, so it got posted on Facebook. I'm not sure if a lot of people saw it out there, but basically the details are you can enter a raffle where you can win a chance to have lunch with Pat Sajak, Pete Werner, and Madeline Werner, Pete's mom, at Disney's Contemporary Resort during the Diz Family Reunion on September 10th. Now, here's the kicker on this. Included in the package will be airfare for 2 guests and a 3-night hotel stay with it, which that's huge. And additionally, the winner of this package will be able to attend the After Hours event at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood Studios on September 11th. And it is a raffle, and you can get...
And lunch is not included.
Yeah, right.
Imagine,
Right? No. Of course, it's included. It is included. You can enter the raffle by doing 1 entry for $5, 3 entries for $10, 8 entries for $20, and 25 entries for $50. And of course, these are donations directly to Give Kids the World. We are going to announce next week the winner of that. So you have time still to get in on it, but we'll let everyone know who the winner is next week. And if you're looking for a direct link to it, all you have to do is check the description on YouTube and you will be able to find it pretty much right at the top. You're not going to be able to miss it there. And it's in all caps. And I think I put in an exclamation point for dramatic effect, but
what?
Yeah, very.
You're getting crazy.
I am. You know what? I keep, every time you talk to Denny, I keep cutting to Rhino because normally I put you in the number 2 slot, but today I put him in the number 2 slot and
I'm eating.
And he's eating sandwiches constantly. So it's not
a granola bar. Excuse you.
Yeah, it's
crunchy.
Sandwiches, granola, all that. It's all good. So I'm off to a rough start here. But do we have anything else we really want to mention right at the top here? I know we're already going on 7 minutes here with this, but we have a lot of news to cover as well too.
I have one thing real quick. I just want to do a shout out to Allison Smith, who made my Swanky Saucy Swine shirt. I mentioned on when we covered the first day of Food and Wine Festival, Disney, I wish, I had this shirt. This would be a great shirt to have because I just love the name. Who doesn't? They put such effort into the name of a booth. I just wanted a shirt. And Allison said, I can do that. And she did. And I love it. So thank you, Allison.
She is excellent at her crafting. That is for sure. But okay, let's jump into the news this week. And again, I wish Pete was here. A lot of people have probably already watched our live stream or listened to our live stream from last week about Disney Genie, Disney Genie Plus, the Lightning Lanes. So you already know what Rhino and I had to say about it. So we're going to get some input in from Denny as well as Aaron. I didn't mention that at the top of the show, but Aaron is actually not a local here in Florida. So a lot of times we get the response of, you guys are all locals, you're pass holders, you have forgotten what it's like to book a vacation and travel that way. So I wanted to kind of jump one step ahead of everyone here. Yes, I don't have Pete's thoughts. No, I am a local, so I don't have that perspective, but I found an outsider that will be able to share a little perspective on what it's like for someone who doesn't live in Florida being affected by Disney Genie. So we'll get to that in just a second, and we'll roughly go over all the details on Disney Genie. Of course, this is coming to both Walt Disney World and California, which that's big news because a lot of people probably don't remember way back when at the 2019 D23 Expo, Disney Genie was announced for Walt Disney World exclusively. And then it was also added on for Disneyland as well, too. Why is that? Because, well, essentially it makes sense. If it can be used at both coasts, why not? There's a lot going into it, so might as well make it easier. But also, it is being looked at as, and Rhino hates this, it's being looked at as the next evolution of Disney Max Pass that you could find out in Disneyland in California. And
a lie.
I know you hate that, but I had to bring it up. I just had to bring it up. So Disney Genie will be available for Disney guests to access via My Disney Experience and the Disneyland apps, respectively, and it will utilize new technology to help craft park touring itineraries for guests. And with that, it's also killing off free Fast Pass. So the Disney Genie base is free. That is completely free, but it's basically just going to give you itinerary updates throughout the day. I feel like most of you already know this, so I don't have to spend a lot of time going over that. But in terms of FastPass being gone forever, of course, that's where Disney Genie Plus comes into the picture here. At Walt Disney World, it's going to be $15 per ticket per day. And at Disneyland, it's going to be $20 per ticket per day. And basically, you will be able to use this in the same way as FastPass, but now in lightning lanes, of course. And you can make one selection at a time throughout the day, starting for all guests at 7 a.m., not just resort guests. Resort guests can book the individual attraction selection starting at 7, but all guests are able to book their first Disney Genie Plus Lightning Lane pass starting at 7 a.m., and that will give you a chance to experience attractions like Haunted Mansion, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Those were some of the ones that were named, and a lot of the bigger ones that weren't named might have, well, will and might have individual attraction selections. And of course, this is your extra paid version. Genie Plus is paid, but then attractions like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Radiator Springs Racer out in Disney California Adventure, you will have the option to buy access to the lightning lanes at a undisclosed price that will come later on. And of course, that price will also vary by date and how busy it generally is before they attach a name to it. And also with this, with attractions like Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and Spider-Man Web Slingers and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure that will have a virtual queue, you can join the virtual queue at 7 a.m. But if you don't get into it, you also have the option to pay to get into that as well too. And again, the pricing on that is not released yet. That is to come, but that is an option if you don't get into that virtual queue. And with that, guests staying at Disney resorts can book those individual attraction selections starting at 7 a.m., but the rest of the guests out, and this is Walt Disney World only, so I need to specify that. The rest of the guests can start booking when they are in the park, after the park opens. And at Disneyland, all guests, everything is just when the park opens. So I feel like I went over the big details with this. Denny, did I miss anything in there?
Nothing that stood out to me specifically. I think that was a good Cliff Notes version, Craig.
Okay.
Good job.
Well, Denny, now's the time. Run away with it.
I was going to ask if Aaron wanted to go first.
Oh.
Aaron, would you like to go first, Aaron?
No, Denny, you can go first.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Number one, we knew this was coming, right? The handwriting was on the wall. It's been on the wall for years. I too am offended when it's likened to Disneyland's Max Pass. I think that this being the next generation of that, like, it's so funny because they know what a fan favorite Max Pass was. And so they just kind of want to say, look over here. Look at this. This is bright and shiny over here. It's like Max Pass. Well, I understand where foundationally they believe it is like Max Pass. It is, however, with the individual attraction selection element of it, for me, it is a bridge too far. It is, it's so, and I've explained my feelings on it in shows past. This is just it's more salt in the wound, it feels like, because we've been losing so many things that were already included in our Walt Disney World Resort vacation. And this is just another one of those things. Fantastic that Disney Genie is going to give us, projected estimated wait times for the rest of the afternoon. Sure, that's cool. I like the thought of being able to see, okay, Midway Mania is running, projected to run at this long of a wait time at 4 p.m. It's 2 p.m. now. I can kind of make my decisions from there. Genie Plus being paid so that you can have Lightning Lane access. Okay, while I am not, while that's not my favorite thing, and like Jackie said, she said she was trying to find, and Jackie, let me know if I'm speaking out of turn here, but you were trying to find the silver lining here, and all Jackie could think of is for a family of 4, it's going to be $60 a day, which, yes, that's the crux of the matter right there. Is we now, if you want to be in that Lightning Lane, that former Fast Pass line, you're going to have to pay, $15 here, 20 in Disneyland, per person each day to be able to do that. But for me, when you add in the element of the individual attraction selection, that to me, and the fact that not every attraction is available under Disney Plus or the Disney Genie Plus, and so some are the top tier attractions are broken out into individual attraction selection. That is, I've really, that's a bit egregious to me. We've gone just a bit too far here. It is paid fast pass on steroids. And for me, when we have lost, just look at what we've been through, everyone, all of us, for the past year and a half. And then we start losing, getting things taken away, like the deluxe, hours, extra magic hours, just all of it. It's kind of one big snowball, and it's rolling down this hill, and it's just taking a lot of the things that we loved along with it. And it's frustrating to me because this magical place that it's already difficult to plan a vacation to go to has gotten exponentially more difficult now. Like, instead of making something easier for us, I think they really were trying to make at least Disney Genie, so the complimentary, upgrade to MDX that we're getting. I really feel like they're trying to make it easier on us, but then everything else. To quote Jason Sykes, a Diz contributor, his article last week, it's a money grab is what it is. And it's just unfortunate.
I just want to, something you just said right there about Disney Genie, about you saying that they're trying to make something that's making life easier. But I'm just realizing that's the trick. It's an illusion, because if it was like the fact that it's called Disney Genie Plus and not something else entirely, like, why isn't it just called something else, and that's how you make the fast? It's because it's still giving the illusion that you're getting the free option. Right. But the free option is just the stupid app that already exists, more or less. Now you can just kind of tell it, and then it's going to make randomized selections for you, I guess, and optimize things that way, I guess. But that's supposedly what the app kind of already is supposed to be doing, right? So it's giving that illusion like, oh, we didn't take away all the free stuff because you still have Disney Genie. And it's just if you want to pay for this thing, it's Disney Genie Plus. So it's still like in your mind, it rests where you're like, well, we had Fast Pass and then Fast Pass Plus. And then so like it still is like these two levels of things. And it's not. It's two different things that they chose to give the same name to give an illusion that there's still a free option. Yep.
It is an illusion. I said to Jackie, we did we were on the webcast yesterday, just informational webcast. And they showed the video, the really slick, beautifully produced and packaged video, just a minute long. And by the time you're done watching this video, you would, of course, I want that thing. I will gladly pay for that. Like, it just looks amazing. But no, when it comes right down to brass tacks, that is a crap ton of money for a family of 4 to add to their vacation. It is just... to me, it's super, super frustrating. I do see a silver lining, though, and I'm really hoping that this comes to fruition. But I hope that less people, I'm thinking, overall, less people will buy those individual attraction selections. Less people will take advantage of Disney Genie Plus and will make the wait in the standby lines a little bit more tolerable, because all of a sudden it's not going to be, depending on which phase it's at the time, it's not going to be 10 people in lightning lane to one person in standby. Hopefully it will be a little bit more equitable, and I'll get on the attraction, and the family of four waiting in front of me will get on the attraction in more of an expedited fashion.
That's honestly why I haven't and didn't just, go all the way off the end when the news came out, because, and I still stand by it. I know that there's a lot of anger out there, and I totally understand why. For me, it all has to come down to how many people end up using it. And right now, I think it's easy to assume, a lot of people are going to use it, and then it is going to make it one of those things. If you don't have Genie Plus and you're not using the individual attraction selections, then you're not getting the full value. And if that's the case, yes, that is completely ridiculous, and that is basically changing the way you vacation at Disney forever in a very negative way. And here's my hope, is that the Disney community will all come together and say, we don't want to pay for this stuff. It might mean that everyone's waiting in standby lines, that that might be a little bit longer than it was before using free Fast Pass, but we'll at least keep it even for everyone, and everyone's in the same field. I have hopes that that'll happen, but no, I think it's going to immediately it's going to immediately roll into, you see the one person who runs by you in a lightning lane, and then you're saying, I think I want that too.
Well, that video about the lightning lane is it has some insane amount. It's like the most disliked video that Disney has ever put out. And it only has 1,000 likes, but it's 15,000 dislikes on it. It feels like our Beauty and the Beast review when that came out.
It pretty much is. It pretty much is.
Here's the deal, though. I'm sorry. I know there will be people who take advantage of Genie Plus and the individual attraction selections, because when you are down here, we've said it before, time is money. That clock is ticking. As soon as your plane lands at MCO, or your car parks in the spot at your resort, whether on-site or off-site, doesn't matter. The clock is ticking, and you've got Bobby Sue, who desperately wants to, ride Seven Dwarfs. Well, the easiest way to get on Seven Dwarfs, to guarantee to get on there, is an individual attraction selection. So, I think there's going to be a lot of parents who are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But and I think that there are going to be a lot of traveling parties that ultimately fork over the cash for it.
Yeah. I want to get Erin's perspective now, from the outsider who doesn't live here in Orlando. What's your take on it?
So I did see that Disney video, Denny, that you're talking about, the very sleek promo video. It made me want to watch Aladdin immediately after. I was like, oh, Genie, I miss all this blue is making me feel happy. And I remember at the end of the video, I was like, well, they didn't answer any of those delightful bullet points of questions that they said. You may have some questions. You may want to know how much these individual attractions cost. And I was like, you're right, Disney promo video. I do want to know that. And it didn't tell us. I was like, okay, thank you for listing out what I want to know, though. So after, I was like, that was an entertaining waste of time, but still. So I live in Nashville. I drive 9 hours with charging, maybe a little bit more, because we have an electric vehicle, because we're those people, to Orlando. So it takes, a minute to get there, and not a local. But I also know a lot of travel agents who are probably like, what is happening? What's going to happen? Because Disney Genie, the minute it came out, because I remember rumors of it and the D23 thing, I was just like, well, Skynet is live. That's what's happening. This is what's happening. Which I'm of two minds about it, because on the one side, I'm like, ooh, it's an app to figure out, because I love an opportunity for training and for looking at how to figure something out, because, problem solver. But I'm curious if it's going to be literally in the My Disney Experience app, or if it's going to be sort of a pop-out app that's like, oh, no, you have to sign into this other app that's connected to it. I'm curious about the user experience, if this is really going to be that easy for people. So I'm curious about how it's going to work. I want to see the itinerary planning just because I'm morbidly curious. And I don't know if it's just going to be one step above the Google predictions of, you know, Publix has a more than busy wait time right now based on past data. Because I used that a lot during the pandemic. I was like, oh, look, it's like all the way down to the bottom at Kroger. Let's go. But I don't know if it's going to be like that. So I'm curious about the mechanics, how it's going to working. That's the positives. The negatives are, okay, a lot of what Disney Genie and Genie Plus claim to do is what travel agents and Dreams Unlimited agents and travel agents all over the place already do. Itinerary planning. And like, I'm kind of scared for them because that's a lot of what planning and consulting is Disney taking, like, I don't want to be mean, but is Disney taking business away from travel agents? I don't know. And just making the whole planning, like all of it in the person's hands, which some people might enjoy. But at the end of the day, like, an app can't replace, you know, a person's experience or expertise, unlike knowing like which burgers are trash at Disney and how a lobby smells and where you should stay and what you should eat. But the mechanics of how to spend your day, I don't know. I'm of two minds about it. But when you break down the numbers, I've had the fortune to go on a VIP tour before. No way did I pay all of that, because no ma'am. But we packed 10 people in there, and I already had like a surplus that I transferred to another friend. And but if you pack 10 people into one of those VIP tours, right, and they're about $3,850 or so. Let's pretend that you get 10 people. That's $380 per person. And ideally, you could do 10 rides in a day. So maybe that's $38.50 per ride. So the numbers aren't that different from a VIP tour. I mean, you've got $15 per person per ticket for Disney Genie Plus. Then you add in all of these little, like, say, I want to ride Rise of the Resistance. I don't want to get up at 7 a.m., but I want to guarantee that I get in that ride because we love Kylo Ren. So that's on the list. Or I need to be on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So that's on the list. That could add up. And you could, if you have a big family, because sometimes I go to Disney World and I see like the flock of people in their t-shirts. I'm like, wow, that's 12 people that bought tickets and are staying somewhere with 12 people. What are they doing? Are they in one room? Are they in a two-bedroom? What are they doing? And I think about those people when I think about these numbers, not just the single traveler, not just the local person, or not even like me, who I'm not local, but I go by myself or with my husband. That's just two people. But I think of like the families of 4 and 6 and 12 who, when you're adding all of that up, like, it's not going to be that much different from a VIP tour. So I don't know if it's Disney's way of, again, Tangled Drake was talking about microcharges in video games. I am very aware of those things. They will add up. And like, oh, let's have some gold here, and oh, let's get some extra lives here. It feels very microchargy because you're not, I don't think you're going to notice it add up until at the end of the day when you pay your bill. Or it's the same Magic Band psychology where I'm just like, oh, boop, I'm fine. Boop, I'm fine. And then at the end of the day, you're like, oh, that's a big boop. That's not little. Those little boops add up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be at play. It's going to sneak up on people.
That's a great point.
Yeah. And it's with that too, a lot of things that we've known for years about how people like to travel to Walt Disney World specifically, not as much Disneyland, but Walt Disney World, is that, you know, you can have it to be this perfect experience where you have your park tickets, you have your hotel reservation on property, you have your dining plan added in, and you know all upfront before you travel what the price is, and you're comfortable with it. But now really with the attraction selections, that is that one extra added expense where you don't know anymore. So you have to then start budgeting for that as well too, if you want to make that a part of your plans. And so that's also like, it's another rude wake up to like, yeah, this isn't the Walt Disney World that we knew 5 years ago. And it's not the Walt Disney World that we knew 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And should they be changing this drastically? Probably not. Probably not. I think Genie Plus is officially what has sent people over the edge. And I cannot say how many messages I've seen from people saying we're packing up and going to Universal, and I get it.
I've seen
I get
that.
it.
Yeah.
And
I saw a lot of people get Universal annual passes, like as a revolt. I was like, oh gosh, the Capitol has revolted. They're going to Universal. It's not a bad place to revolt to. Love Universal. But I mean,
yep.
What does Disney say? If Disney doesn't think that Universal is making money, then they're losing their minds. Like, Universal's absolutely making money on this decision.
They are. They're going to take a lot, and then once Epic Universe comes around, it's going to be a complete different game here in Orlando overall. And yeah, Universal also has paid Express Pass, but the big difference is while Express can be ridiculously expensive, $200 per person per day, at least the base level of Express, you are guaranteed to get into every attraction that has Express. At least you get in
Universal,
once.
Yeah. And at least like Universal's version of Deluxe Resorts give you, I mean, it comes with the perk of Express Plus. Is that what they call it?
Yep, you get a Express Pass Plus where you get
it's
unlimited.
It's the super duper Express. Yeah, it's unlimited. I think it's what, at $89, $99, $79. It's an $80 value or something per person. I know it's something like $20 more than the regular Express. But because there's the $60 one and the $9, I don't know. But when you have a family of four, like that's what, 90 times 4? No. Just stay in a deluxe resort, get that built in, go to the park earlier. And when Disney deluxe resorts are kind of peeling away all of those nice little perks, like I'm still mad about parking. I am still irate about the parking. I used to buy rented DVC points because there's no way that I can pay $400 to stay at Boardwalk because who am I? I can't do that. But I can rent DVC points. And I remember whenever they stopped allowing free parking for DVC resorts, and I was like, oh man, that really adds up. And it's, oh goodness, so I'm still toasty about that. But
yeah, it's been a wild ride over the past couple of years.
It's hard. Go ahead, Rhino. You go first.
I was just gonna say, I in the chat too, and I think the thing that ultimately, like, it just kind of eats away at me is kind of like Denny said earlier in her thing too, is it just feels like they're taking advantage of people. And I know you don't have to pay for it, but this is another thing, like Denny said, about like taking away something from people. You've removed benefits again without a decrease in price. So the price of the ticket on a numbers level didn't increase, but the value of that price just dropped because now you're not getting as much with the same amount that you're already paying. Also, this comes on the heels of a terrible year, and we are still in a pandemic. And I know you can feel it. You know, there's that desperation to get out and do something before things just get completely terrible. I mean, I know we're on that route right now, but it's just like, it feels like they're taking advantage of people's desperation right now, that they're like, people are scattered. They want to be at Disney. They want to be able to do this. They want to be able to, because, after this last year, who knows the next time that they're going to be able to do this again and how different it'll be. And it's always changing. So it just feels like that little extra, it just feels like they're not being secret about being greedy anymore. And at least before they were secret, it was buried and covered and behind the bush and whatever. And now they're just like, it just walks down the street and takes our money right out of our hands before we even do anything,
Yeah, we understand because there are people who will inevitably say it's a business. What else? What do you expect? Of course they're going to do this. Well, we get that. We get that it's a business, and I'm not blind to the fact that this is capitalism at work here, but. It's more than just cut and dry. It's not as cut and dry as that, I feel like. There are a lot of emotions, and I know I've said this before too, but there's a lot of emotions wrapped up with a Walt Disney World or Disneyland vacation. There just is. It is something that you pass on to your next generation if you have that opportunity to do so. It is... there's not a whole lot of places that I go and visit, and before I leave, I want to turn back and look at a castle before I walk out of the gate. It's like, I don't feel that way about other places. I feel that way about Walt Disney World. That's why I moved here. I feel that way about Disneyland. Every minute I get to spend within the gates of Disneyland is a very well spent minute. So I think it just comes hot on the heels of a train wreck of a year and a half. And then we've lost all the other things. And now this. And I get that Universal has done this, paid fast pass for a long time. This is just, this is us trying to process, okay, well, we've never had to do that at Disney before, but now we're going to have to. So let's chew on this a little bit. Yeah. And it's a little bitter to swallow.
It's hard, and it's not a fair comparison comparing it to Universal, because Universal's priced express, unless you get it with the deluxe resort stay at Portofino, Hard Rock, or Royal Pacific, unless you get it there, the cost on most days that you're really going to want to use it is pretty astronomical. So it can impact a lot of people from not buying into it. And you know what? The less people that buy into it, the faster the standby lines move. So everyone, again, has their fair game. Disney priced it at a point.
They also never offered it for free. Universal never had a free option either. That's the other part of that too. So
they never took anything back from people.
Exactly. Which that's obviously why it is terrible that Disney gave something for free for so long. People got used to it, and now it's like, nope, no more. It's a lot bigger of a shock than, even though we all knew it was coming, it still is a big shock. But it's priced at a point where I feel like it's just too tempting. It's not ridiculously priced. If it was priced Genie Plus at $50, $60 a day, I think everyone would be more collectively saying, nope, that's a little bit over our windows that we can afford with it. But Disney's dangling that price at a point where it's like,
sneaky.
I feel like they know they can get some people who might have been on the fence about it. And that's not a good feeling too. There's just not a lot of good stuff with it. But I feel like, Denny, you wrapped, unless we have any final thoughts on it. I feel like you had a good last statement on it.
I will say that I've never needed to buy Universal, upgrade my ticket to have a good day at Universal. I don't know if it's the way the queues are structured or the way the park is structured, and maybe the crowd levels in general, or maybe the fact that I go when there's less people. But I've never needed to pay more money to get what I thought was the value out of my ticket. And what I'm worried about is that now people feel like they need to pay more money to get value out of their day at Disney, which is a bummer.
Well said.
There we go. Okay, we are going to move on to our next story as we rapidly go through our stories now, because we're already running out of time. I mean, I knew it was gonna go long on Genie Plus again, so I should have been prepared. But a lot of news. Just breaking this morning: all Disney Cruise Line passengers ages 12 and up will be required to be fully vaccinated to sail. And a lot of this is in response to the emergency order that was issued by the Bahamian government last week, where, if you weren't fully vaccinated, then Bahamas, absolutely not a thing. And now Bahamas still, we have a travel restriction that we shouldn't go to the Bahamas at all too. But the long story short on all of that is that all guests ages 12 and older will be required to be fully vaccinated in order to board ships between September 3rd and November 1st, 2021. All guests 12 years or older. No longer the take your tests and go through that way. You have to be fully vaccinated in order to experience, if they were to stop at the Bahamas, fine. But in this case, it also impacts the private islands in the Bahamas, like Castaway Cay. Hence why they need to do that. To comply with the new requirement, all guests ages 12 and older on upcoming sailings must be fully vaccinated to board the ship. Approved vaccines include the Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson ones. And we're talking fully vaccinated. So the 2 weeks, the 14 days after your second shot for the two-shot ones, and one for the Johnson & Johnson shot. And right now, this is just through September 3rd through November 1st. Those sailings, we will have to wait and see what the updates are to that. And there are obviously cancellation and modification options for you out there. So if you didn't book through a travel agency, start thinking about how you want to fix that on your own. But this is also a good promo for why to use a travel agency like Dreams Unlimited Travel, because you also get your free gift basket, that shipboard credit, all that good stuff, and they'd be taking care of this issue for you right now. So this is what we were kind of hoping for, that Disney would eventually go vaccination required in terms of to make it the safest for everyone. I get it that there's people out there who also can't get the vaccine because they have issues that prevent them from getting it, whether it's religious or medical. But with the medical side of it, I'm in the mindset of, well, you should probably, if you have medical issues, you probably shouldn't be getting on a cruise anyways, because they are floating cesspools. As much as I love them, they are gross, and I always come back from them sick. But now Disney is going forward with this plan. So, any thoughts?
I think they were, again, another rock in a hard place. They want to be able to dock at their island.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal. That's the crown jewel of going on a Disney Cruise Line cruise, like to go to Castaway Cay. So I completely understand. And they've got ships now who are doing double dips at Castaway. So if you can't park there, where are you parking? Are you just doing donuts in the ocean for 4 days, which I would be okay with personally, but it would be a bummer to miss Castaway, that's for sure. So yeah, it's do what you got to do to be able to park at Castaway.
I'm right there with you. So, any final thoughts on this one, or are we moving on?
No, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Good for them.
Good for
Yeah,
them.
good for
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I'm sure we're going to ruffle some more feathers on this, and we're going to start talking about the event dates and details for Disney Very Merriest After Hours coming to Magic Kingdom. And of course, this is the After Hours holiday party that's going to be happening at Magic Kingdom on 24 select nights beginning November 8th through December 21st, this time from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. So an extra hour in order to experience all that holiday magic that we want so well. The good news is, of course, with this, that the Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time fireworks will return and be a part of Very Merriest After Hours, as well as Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time parade, the first parade coming back to Magic Kingdom since the parks have reopened. All we had were cavalcades. We thought there were going to be only cavalcades for this, but they decided to surprise us and say, yep, we're going to have Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time coming back as well. That is huge news. And of course, there's also going to be lots of other perks like the limited wait times at the big attractions, Disney characters dressed in their holiday best, as well as snow on Main Street USA. It will be awesome to have a return of snow, the complimentary ice cream bars, novelties, popcorn, seasonal treats, and bottled beverages. There will also be specialty holiday food and drinks that will be available for purchase, and Disney Photo Pass magic shots will be all around. But the kicker with this was, tickets are on sale already. I don't know if any of the dates have sold out yet. I can imagine they wouldn't, because the cheapest ticket, not counting annual pass holder and DVC member tickets, the cheapest ticket starts at $169 a night, or per person for each party night, and goes all the way
more
up.
Than
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
And goes all the way up
Yes.
to $249 on the last couple party nights on the December 19th and 21st, and that's plus tax on there too. So $169 to $249.
That's the cheapest ticket is more expensive than the most expensive day the last time they had it, right?
Well, you're talking about Boo Bash?
No, the Christmas
No.
party, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe the
the
Christmas
regular?
party ever, even like the
No.
week before Christmas, I don't think the Christmas party ever hit 169. I think it maxed out at maybe like 150 at most, at the most expensive, but I'm just trying to remember, and I can't remember what happened this morning, so.
Yeah.
Well, they got to charge for that extra hour, so.
Right.
Yeah, this is, so I will just be blunt with this. The Diz is paying for 6 tickets for our team to go cover this event on the first night at $189. And I was the one who bought the tickets for this. Technically, we got the annual pass discount of $179. But it charged my credit card over $1,200 for the 6 tickets, which is just sitting now on my statement until I can get reimbursed from Pete for this, because it's insane. This party, I will say, I love that the parade is coming back. I love that fireworks will be included, and I'm sure the characters, seeing them, will be just really special and magical, and I'll try to get as many treats and such in. But I will flat out say, as a local, I would absolutely not put my own money on this event, not for that price at all at any point in time. And I don't think I would have spent it either if I would have been traveling in. This is just way, way, way out of the price range for what I'm comfortable with. And that's being nice with saying it and not sharing my full thoughts on the cost of this Disney After Hours event. It's insane. And yeah, you are getting the extra hour versus Boo Bash, but I think we'll talk about Boo Bash here mixed in with this, but Boo Bash, you had to decide, do you want it to be a mini Halloween party, or do you want it to be Disney After Hours? Or do you want it to be kind of a little bit bad mixture of the both of them, because you're not going to do everything. And this is still, even with 1 extra hour, it's still going to be the same way. You're still going to have to choose. Do you want this to be a Christmas party or Disney After Hours? And, once you're paying that price, you shouldn't have to choose. You shouldn't have to choose.
Yeah, I mean, that extra hour is going to be eaten up with getting your parade viewing spot and your fireworks viewing location. I mean, you're going to have to park yourself. I'm really glad that we're getting them back, but we're going to have to park ourselves. Like, Craig, I know you're already starting to plan exactly where you want to stand for the fireworks shot to get the best view for the parade this year. Like, there's going to be planning that needs to go into this. And there is no way, not no how chance of me, if I wasn't working for the Diz, attending this event. There's just no. I, for years before joining the Diz, I paid for an annual pass. Like, that's the whole reason I moved down here. So of course I'm going to have an annual pass. But there were evenings where we would go ahead and head on out of the Magic Kingdom because there was a hard ticket party getting ready to begin. And I was, a little misty about, not misty, but a little like, oh, wouldn't it be nice someday? But at the same time, like, not this. I wouldn't, there'd be no mistiness happening over a $249 hard ticket event ticket. And the hard ticket event is only 4 hours in length and doesn't even start till 9 p.m. My dearest friend has 2 kiddos under the age of 3. Bought them tickets for Boo Bash, kind of was in the whole Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party mode, and just kind of that general line of thinking. That's something that they have done in the past. And so they packed up the kids in cute outfits. Off we go in the stroller. Oldest kiddo remained awake for 30 minutes and spent the rest of the Boo Bash asleep in the stroller. So literally, my friend paid to stroll her kid around the Magic Kingdom.
That's an expensive nap.
It is an expensive nap, Erin. That was $100 so that you could go stroll your kid around the Magic Kingdom. Like, no. So on many, many, many levels, this is not something that I would personally spend money to attend. That being said, when we are there on November the 8th, we will seek to cover it as thoroughly as possible so that those who would like to spend that have a game plan, a full, thought as to what it's going to be like before they step foot into the park. And I have a feeling my main key for Boo Bash is going to be the same for Merriest After Hours. It's going to be to plan ahead of time and pick out what is most important to you. Kind of like what you were saying, Craig. You can have one or the other. You can have both, but it's going to be a diluted experience if you try to do it all.
Okay, so I want to get Erin's thoughts on this party specifically from the aspect of just last week, she came down and spent her money on Boo Bash. So I want to get it from that perspective. Was Boo Bash to you worth it? And with the prices for this, would you do Very Merriest?
Oh boy. Well, no, on Very Merriest, it's not worth it. Boo Bash was like on that line of like, am I crazy? I don't know, but Boo Bash was the best way for me to personally experience Magic Kingdom during a pandemic. That's why I went, because lower crowds and lower wait times and just lower amounts of people in general, and cooler weather. Also, we don't like incredibly hot weather, and even though at midnight it was still in the 80s, because Orlando, yay, in Orlando in August. But that was 80% of why I bought that ticket. But also I don't have any, I'm kind of building up my Disney photo library because I'm trying to get in the habit of writing more and that whole thing. And I don't have any personal copyrighted photos of, Mickey pumpkin wreaths or anything. I'm like, I need to add to my library. I don't have anything. And so there was a little bit of content FOMO going on in there. And I was like, oh, I gotta get some pictures. And, I want to get a video of the new, Small World paint job. And she's pretty. She's real sparkly. But if I didn't want to be building up my content library, if I wanted to go there for the party aspect of it and all of the parades and things like that, I would have felt like I didn't get the value out of my ticket. I didn't dress up. I didn't need to be there to dress up. Also, I'm just, the kind of outfits that I would wear are like full length Arwen dresses, and that's just not what you want to wear on a steamy August night. So yeah, all I have are elf costumes, so it just wouldn't work. Yeah, I liked that I got to bring my husband to Magic Kingdom and that he got to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train for the first time ever. I got to see him ride it, and we've never ridden it at night before either, and I've always wanted to ride it at night. I rode it once during the day, and then this is the second time I've ridden it, and it was a 15-minute wait. Hallelujah. So I was like, that's nice. But for Very Merry, getting that one extra, thank you for that extra hour. Appreciate that, Disney. It's in a cooler time of the year. That's nice. But if you want to go to Magic Kingdom to avoid crowds, there are other ways to do it that don't cost you $169 plus. And if you want to go during lower crowds and get the holiday spirit, there are still ways to do that without $169 plus per person. So it just maxed out its value per delivery for me. And I love Christmas. Like I'll start watching Christmas movies in July happily, but that's just too much tea for me. So no.
There we go. I think that's pretty clear. Okay, are we ready now for what I'm calling our wave of rapid fire news updates? We've got a lot of short stories that we have to go through. And we have just a little bit time left, so this is going to be fun. Let's start off with the next exciting news here, and that is that the Wave will become Steakhouse 71. So after its refurbishment, it will be a new casual dining concept that gets its name from the resort's opening year, if you couldn't figure that out. And this was what was expected in terms of all the rumors surrounding what's going to happen to the Wave. So just confirmed. It looks like, according to the photo they released with the announcement, that it's going to have a layer cake that looks very similar to the layer cake that was at Steakhouse 55 out in Disneyland at the Disneyland Hotel that did not reopen and is permanently closed now. So I look forward to spending years at the Contemporary building a love and affection for Steakhouse 71 to only find out that 20 years down the road it will close and then never reopen. So I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be classy. Concourse Steakhouse, that used to be on the 4th floor of the Contemporary when I was growing up. I had some of the greatest meals with my family that the only memories I have of a lot of the trips were eating there. So I'm excited, even though it's in a different location, not as glamorous. It still brings back that piece of Walt Disney World for me. So I'm all for it.
Yep. For sure. And a quick note about the chocolate cake, the top of the world cake has been served at the Wave during this reopening phase before they, close down on July the 15th. So that is something that has been a secret menu item that if you ask for it, they will allow you to purchase. So, which is a lot of fun because that's normally in normal times just exclusively available at Top of the World Lounge. So yes, that's very cool that we're getting that. It's so sad that Steakhouse 55 is closing. Just standing outside of it last month, just standing there going, oh, like everything's still there. It looks like they could just invite people back in at any point. So if we're going to have a little homage to Steakhouse 55 here, just a little wink and a nod, I'm okay with it.
It's like Ron Swanson when they close his steakhouse. What do you think they did with the extra steaks? Did they give it a home?
Yeah.
What did they do? They just shut her
That's
up.
hilarious.
Yep.
Excellent news for that. And maybe not excellent news moving on from there. And that is, well, I guess some people find it excellent, others won't. But buffets returning to Walt Disney World technically have already returned. BOMA already reopened as a buffet, but 2 buffets are also coming back. Beer Garden has already been open, but it will be converting back to its buffet service on August 29th, as well as Crystal Palace in Magic Kingdom. That will be resuming its buffet service on September 12th. And with Beer Garden, they were doing family style for that meal, and then Crystal Palace was like the you pick one entree, but then the appetizers and dessert were family style. But now all these are buffets, and I wish I would have. This has been so tough because I still am weird about eating indoors after all this time. I cannot. I'm working to try to get rid of it, and I've had moments where I can. Something about it, though, is like I do enjoy eating outdoors, just not when it's like 100 degrees out. If there's shade, I'm fine eating outdoors. I've come to appreciate it, but I didn't eat indoors at a lot of these places and take advantage of the family style dining that I actually really prefer to buffets. So I'm kind of bummed out that a lot of buffets are going to start coming back. But I also get it too. There's lots of people who love buffets. So, I mean, it's really, you're going to win. You're winning on this one.
Well, and I remember when Storytellers Cafe came back last month at the Grand Californian and going, oh, wait, there are tongs. There are tongs on that buffet. Like, this is a legit buffet that's going on here. Like, it was just kind of a moment that was a little just unheard of. It felt like that there would be tongs that people would be touching. But so I'm not shocked that BOMA came back. I'm not shocked about Beer Garden or Crystal Palace coming back. What I do want to say, though, is while I haven't been to the Crystal Palace during this kind of reopening phase, I did go on more than one occasion to Beer Garden for their family style service, and it was simply lovely. I didn't mind at all that those buffets were not available for me to waltz right up to, grab a set of tongs and serve myself. The service there was amazing. It was we still had the band playing, so I felt like I didn't miss anything at all about the buffet not occurring, and I think they found a great way to fill in the gap. So it'll be interesting to watch all this unfold, but I'm not shocked.
Gross.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Craig already knows this from knowing me for so many years, is I have always carried those wipes and everything with me, and I'm very germy like person, and I like my surfaces wiped down and everything like that. And so when they announced this was coming back, when Florida is the leading state in this resurgence of COVID vaccines, right? Or vaccines, yeah, right. I wish in the virus outbreak, like I just was like, is this the best? I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. But I remember thinking like, I'm ruined for life at this point. So there's no saving me. So I'm already gone in terms of being a germaphobe. So it's just, I'm here on out. It's just going to get worse for me. But I was like, like it required to wear a mask when you go up to get the food, or can you
Yes.
just walk up and get the food? It is okay.
Yeah.
That was my big question, because I
Mhm.
wasn't clear in the thing I had read. So I was like, okay, if that's the case, then I'm like, that's fine. I feel like that's a thing we probably should have been doing years and years and years ago. But
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. You know what? One of the saddest places that has gone now because of everything is sweet tomatoes, and I am so
Mhm.
I'm so devastated by that still.
R.I.P. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
So
so
sad.
he took the news so bad. He's just like, I'm done. I
Yeah,
can't
gross.
talk
To drop
about
out.
anything else
Sorry.
after sweet tomatoes. I have to
Yeah.
be done.
I can't. I am leaving this conversation. Sweet
That's it.
tomatoes, cut my feed. I'll be
That's
gone.
it.
Yeah.
Well, and I want to clarify, the way that BOMA has reopened is that masks are required at the buffet. So I am
Okay. That's good to know.
hoping that will be the same for the additional 2 that reopen in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's buffets. Buffets. I don't know what else to say about it. One of those
They're the
things
swimming pools of restaurants.
I loved them growing up,
We agree.
and
The water parks. Sorry.
yeah, no, I loved buffets growing up, and now I fell out of love with them, and yeah, that's where I'm
I
at.
loved
But-
them too. My favorite buffet growing up was this Chinese buffet, and I loved it because I could get all
Yeah.
the green beans I wanted. And I could never
Yes.
really decide. I loved Indian food buffets too, because
Mm.
I am such a bad person with like feeling like money is wasted irrevocably if you waste it on bad food. So when you go to a new restaurant and you're like, I don't know what to get, I don't always go out of my comfort zone sometimes, unless I'm like doing a review or something. But buffets, I'm like, oh, I can try a little bit of everything. That's wonderful. But around age 13 or 14, so into middle school, beginning of high school, someone just like broke the biggest bubble of all for me and was like, you know why they have those shields there, right? And it's just a bell I couldn't unring. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And
I know too much.
I know too much. I've seen beyond the veil. I can't go back. And I'm pretty sure that my germophobia like kicked into high gear somewhere around late high school, college, and just got to where we are, the broken version of me. And it's fine right now. I'm a handy white mask wearing girl.
Yeah.
I wiped down my airline seat long before any of this stuff happened. So I will not be going to a buffet, which is a bummer because I've always wanted to try Boma, and I was actually kind of excited for it to open up as family style, maybe. And I was like, oh, that would be cool if I could get family style Boma to go. That'd be nice. So I'd be interested to know if Disney is going to do a Boma to go option, maybe like Sanaa to go, which has been popular. Their bread service to go has been a great hit. I would love to see that. But the return of the buffets and Genie Plus, and I'm just like, is Disney a cruise line now? Like, we're planning our itineraries, we're paying more to stay on certain rides, just like we're paying more to eat at Remy, and now there's the buffets. It feels cruise liney to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot. We're gonna have to wrap this up quickly though, because I really am now in the mood to go to the Pizza Hut buffet and get some
I know. I was
delicious
just
Pizza
thinking
Hut
about
pizza.
the Pizza Hut buffet. That's so
Right.
funny. I was literally
Pizzies.
thinking about that.
I do enjoy that. Okay, let's let's get off the buffets and move on to happier topics as we go through the last of these still very quickly. So I know we're running very long here, but they released new concept art and a little bit more details for Disney Enchantment, the new fireworks show that is starting on October 1st, along with the anniversary. The new show is going to include an original song entitled "You Are the Magic" by 7-time Grammy winner
Aggressive.
Philip Lawrence. Well, I don't know. They didn't put where like the emphasis was, so I don't know if it's "You Are the Magic" or if it's "You Are the Magic." Or I don't
Or you
like
are
you are
the magic.
You
the magic.
are the
You are
magic.
the magic.
Are the, like I don't know where it's
The
at,
magic.
but it's
The-
it's promised to be an emotional song, so that's good. There is that. Disney Parks blog said since opening day in 1971, dazzling fireworks shows have provided that perfect exclamation point at the end of a fantastic day at Magic Kingdom Park. From Fantasy in the Sky and Wishes to the holiday spectaculars and Happily Ever After, each new show has raised the bar and the best is yet to come. And because of that, that show director Mark Renfro can't wait for you to see what they're creating with Disney Enchantment. And in Disney Enchantment, we'll be joined with dreamers like Tiana, Miguel, Rapunzel, brothers Ian and Barley from Pixar's Onward, that so many people are thrilled with. And we're going to set out on an incredible journey with adventurers such as Moana, Raya, and Judy Hopps. Joe Gardner from Disney and Pixar's Soul will take us into the zone where we discover a whimsical world inspired by the style of legendary Disney artist Mary Blair and filled with beloved characters from classic stories like Beauty and the Beast, Alice in Wonderland, to contemporary tales including Luca and Wreck-It Ralph, building to the climactic moment as Tinkerbell will take her flight. And so, yeah, we're getting a lot of characters, moments, music from Disney and Pixar films that, you know, all of these properties are what inspired the world of magic in Walt Disney World. And that's the twist they're going with it. Not going to be about Disney parks. It's going to be about the movies that inspire and bring life to the Disney parks. So I'm bummed. I mean, I'm still looking forward to the show overall because I love fireworks. I think we all know that. And I've miss Wishes. I miss Fantasy in the Sky. I'm going to miss Happily Ever After, which now I'm thinking that it actually won't come back ever. I think this is going to be permanent. And my mind has just changed recently on that. And I'm sure I will love this show too. I was just really hoping that it would be a little bit more park centric for the 50th, but I get that. If it's about the movies, then it's more accessible to more people than just parks fans. But I don't know. Do something for us, please.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have history here, Craig. It only exists on the West Coast.
You're right.
I like that they're making the effort to involve, just to kind of mix in and incorporate some of the newer movies like Luca and Soul. Yeah. I'm cool with that. But the biggest thing for me, and probably the most beloved, I would think, the most beloved thing, and maybe a nod to Walt Disney World, is the fact that Tinkerbell is still going to take flight. Like, if she wasn't, there would be an uprising, I think.
The citizens would revolt. No.
Yes, it'd be bad. A revolution. But so I'm glad that they're doing that. I'm glad that they've already told us she'll be taking flight, so we can all, go into it, not panicking over whether Tinkerbell's flying to Tomorrowland or not. But
I just had the mental image. Sorry for interrupting you, but I feel like to save more money, they're now going to cut Tinkerbell from the show as Tinkerbell as a human, as a performer, and instead they're just going to get like a mannequin that kind of like similarly looks to Tinkerbell, and just throw it down the wire.
Out the window.
And the spotlight follows her down.
Yeah. And like, if you're close enough, if you're on that Tomorrowland bridge, you'll be like, why does that look like a stuffed mannequin? And they're like, it's not moving. They'll just attach a wand to her. The wand will just be flapping in the wind.
It'll be the used car thing that dances in the wind. It'll be one of those waving people.
Oh, I feel like we might be one step away from that. So I don't want to give anyone any ideas, but it feels like it could happen.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
There is a Spider-Man animatronic. Let's just remember that.
That's right.
Very true. Very true.
Exactly right.
Okay.
I think I saw Arrested Development and knew that we can't have real Spider-Man people doing a musical. Like, that's just not okay.
Any final thoughts on Disney Enchantment?
Nah.
Okay, let's move on then to our next of all the crazy stories. NBA Experience. Done. Good riddance. I only went once as a free media event, and it was awful. It was so awful that I never even got around to releasing a video about it. And not like I didn't intend it. It was like, we finished the event. Corey and I went.
It wasn't worth the edit.
It wasn't it was not worth the edit. I was like, I can't waste any extra time on this. And we were late to the event. We missed the opening ceremony where there was celebrities and all of that. We just rolled up once the doors opened and walked in, and we were there for like 30 minutes. And we're like, yep, that's enough.
It's so funny that you say that, Craig, because I actually looked for that video last week. I'm like, I know Craig and Corey were at this event. Wasn't there a video? Because we're covering the news and getting it out there. And I went, well, no, I can't find it. So that explains why. Like, and it's so funny to me because people are like, oh, see, Disney Quest was so much better. And I agree. I loved Disney Quest. I could stand there and play Space Invaders and Dig Dug until the cows come home. I mean, just those two. But the whole reason they did the NBA experience is because not enough people were coming to Disney Quest. It is the thing that we always, that we always want, that we can't have back. Oh, it was so good. Well, no, it wasn't. Like, for whatever reason, it wasn't as highly attended as it should have been. And so that's why we got the NBA experience to begin with. And I know we all saw the writing on the wall that this was going to be short-lived. So unfortunately, it's met its end.
Yeah.
I have no dog in the NBA experience fight because I probably wouldn't have gone anyway. It's all sports ball to me. I grew up playing flute in pep band for these sports things, so I have just like bad memories of waiting for games to end.
I played basketball, and I will tell you still, like, I remember being like, my nephew might like this, but why would I tell him to come here and pay this money when we could just do this outside for free, like where we normally do it?
Yeah, it's like it was like a convenience thing. It's like, A, there's air conditioning. B, you can lower the hoop so that way you can slam dunk on it on your own level. But little kids have been doing that at their own basketball nets that they have at their house since I was a kid. And you have to stick the broom up to hit the release lever that then lowers the hoop. And then everyone's like, yeah, we're going to dunk on it when it's at 6 feet. It just, I don't. This was just one of Bob Iger's passion products that just you knew it was gonna end eventually, and I'm glad that day is now here. I cannot wait to think about what's going to be in that space next. We'll probably do like off the rails on it at some point. What should go in there? So we'll get to that at some point in time. Also, so with the NBA experience closing, hey, good to know that Drawn to Life, the Cirque du Soleil show, will be opening on November 18th, 2021. Tickets are now on sale. I don't have tickets for this. I got to see a preview of it, and while I saw a preview of it at the Runaway Railway media event last year, and while it intrigued me, I'm not super excited to the point that I need to go out and rush to see the clowns perform again. I think that Lanuba was an awesome show, and Drawn to Life should be even better. But I'm not there yet that I'm like, I need to do that. Maybe I'll get to see it special for a media thing. Maybe Pete will send us to cover it. But as myself, I'm not quite ready for it yet.
Craig, the media preview that you saw for Drawn to Life, how heavy was the Disney IP woven into what you saw?
Oh, very, very heavy. It
really?
It is
Good.
blending Disney IP, bringing it to life. Also with the performers, it looked spectacular from that perspective.
Awesome.
The 10 minutes that we got to see, they were really good. They were really, really good. But I was excited back then for it, and like, I can't wait for this show to come out. Now I'm just like, I'll see it when I see it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that they're trying to craft it for its environment. I like that.
Exactly.
Give us Disney stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good one. And our last news, not really a news item per se, but it's Princess Week at Walt Disney World. And part of that is we finally got that new look at concept art for the upcoming Princess and the Frog attraction that will be replacing Splash Mountain. And it's nice to get more artwork involved, considering, we got the original announcement months and months and months and months ago. So long. Gosh, that was over a year ago now at this point. I don't even know why I'm speaking in months when it was a year, but it's nice to see new artwork from it to get a better idea of the attraction. And of course, like they released one image that's a concept art and other that was inspired by the attraction and what they expect, kind of a general feel of it. I don't know enough about art to really be too descriptive with it, but the one concept image they released has Naveen paddling a boat with Tiana at the front, and of course she's wearing her pants and holding a lantern, and Lewis is waving in the background. There's like an otter, a river otter off the side that's going to be one of the new characters, because there are going to be new characters that we're going to meet with this. And it kind of checks out with what I expected the inside to look with. And of course they hide other critters in the background to insinuate that they are going to try to reuse some of the animatronics that are already currently in there. And the other image they released was like a watercolor oil painting. I know those are two different things. Again, I don't know about art. Where's Corey Martin when we need him explaining what it was? But it does the exact same thing. Shows that the characters are going to be there, colorful, extra critters playing music, and I liked the images. I'm still excited for it when it hits us in 2035. I'll be ready to ride it.
2035. Exactly.
So
it's just nice to know it's still coming, because people were like, is it happening? And while we've been told yes, we haven't actually seen something tangible. So while this isn't totally tangible because it's an artist rendering, it is nice to at least have that. And we said before we went live, it looked like Tiana with her boots on, like she's kind of got a Jungle Cruise mashup going on, and we were all for that. And Marianne just pointed that out in live chat, which was just perfect. It does kind of look like she's a little Jungle Cruise-ish. So that was fun.
I think it looks
Rhino,
Rhino,
you have nothing to say?
Oh, I'm very excited for it. No, I'm not going to say anything because I am very much in support of the retheming of it, but I feel like my thoughts will probably be picked apart by this terrible chat room. So I'm not going to say anything.
There you go.
Sometimes you get that option to not speak. And that is finally it through our news. I know there's a lot of people that want us to cover on the Disney DJ. I am not doing that. A, I didn't have the chance to see the DJ in action. B, the fact that
he hired the DJ.
Yeah,
right.
No, but I did not hire the DJ. I don't have anything to say about it. I don't have anything to say about the Disney management who decided to put the DJ in there. I don't have anything to say about the DJ himself that people apparently drove off of social media once they found out who it is. I have nothing to say about that. All I will say is if you go back and watch me talk in the past about DJs during Disney events in the parks, you can hear my opinion on any point that I made about DJs back then. But we're gonna move on past that. Wrap the show up with final housekeeping before we completely go. Does anyone have anything that they want to throw in at the last second here? Nope.
Just thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
It was fun.
Thanks, Aaron.
I really appreciate it.
And I wouldn't want to be that DJ. That's all I have to say is I wouldn't want to be that. That's got to be the worst thing ever, to like be a DJ for an empty room. I just
Yeah. He was just hired for a gig. That's all.
Exactly. Nothing else to say with that. So I want to remind you about a couple things, like including our Patreon. If you want to support us even extra, get exclusive content like our Patreon after show, you can sign up at patreon.com/DizUnplugged. We have lots of different YouTube channels as well as podcast feeds that are available for you. And so you can get a link to all the YouTube channels at the homepage of youtube.com/DizUnplugged. It'll take you to all of them. UO Fan, Disney Dining, Dreams Unlimited Travel. That one hasn't been updated in a long time, but it's still there. DVC Fan, DCL Fan, again, needs updated. Hasn't been updated in a long time. Moving to Orlando. That is all right there for you. And yeah, the audio feeds, you can find all of our podcasts where podcasts are found. So just make sure you find them and subscribe, including our audio exclusive show, Connecting with Walt, that dives into the history of Walt Disney, the theme parks, Imagineers, and beyond. That will be returning on September 3rd. So get ready for that to come back. But I think that is it for the rest of the things I wanted to mention. So I hope everyone had a lot of fun during this show. Thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you to everyone for watching and listening. We get on and do this not just for ourselves, but also for you, to try to help you plan your vacations better, help you get a little bit entertained, hopefully at the very least. And yeah, we do it for you. So that's I just want to always remind everyone of that we're not doing this out of our own self-service. We're just trying to make some people happier and plan better vacations. And we appreciate you the same way that I hope you appreciate us. But that's it for this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged. Hope everyone has a great week. Take care. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.